Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the semiconductors and p-n diode. So we have to see what about the semiconductor. So first of all, we will discuss about the semiconductor materials. The semiconductor materials are those materials whose electrical properties lies between the conductors and insulators. Means if we are talking about the semiconductor material, so conductivity of our semiconductor materials will be less than the conducting materials and greater than the insulator material. So that is, it is a basically mid of that both of the materials. The silicon and germanium are the most popular semiconductor materials. So that is basically a chart in which we have to mention that what about the semiconductor materials conductivity lies. So that is 10 to the power minus 8 to 10 to the power minus 3. So that is basically the mid. So semiconductor material is that is the midpoint in which the conductivity is less than conductors and it is the greater than from our insulator part. So now in next, we will see actual definition of our semiconductor material. So resistivity, as we have to see, that is 10 to the power minus 4 ohm centimeter to 10 to the power 3 ohm centimeter. Low temperature, what will happens? Valence band is the most full and conduction band is almost empty. So in our further slides, we will see what about the valence band and what about the forbidden energy band gap. So that is basically a three layers of that. Our conduction band is the topmost band and valence band is the lowest band of our semiconductor materials, and the between of these two band there is a forbidden gap band, and that is the that oppose the flow of electrons from moving to the valence band to conduction band. So if we are talking about the low temperature, what will happen there? Your valence band is full, means number of electrons or holes are full in your valence band, and your conduction band is empty. So in normal temperature or very low temperature, the forbidden gap is very small, that is equivalent to 1 electron volt. So generally when we talk about the normal temperature, so that is what will happen that in normal temperature, our semiconductor is behave just like a insulator. And when we are slightly increase our temperature, so now what will happens there? When we increase our temperature from low temperature to high temperature. So basically when you increases your temperature, the electrons which are lying in the valence band, they can acquire some energy and they will easily move or jump to the conduction band. Means by moving to the from valence band to conduction band, when you are increasing your temperature, and if there are number of electrons are present in the conduction band, means it will move towards the conducting material. So this is the reason कि when we are working at a low temperature, your semiconductor behave just like a insulator. But when we are increasing our temperature, so now what will happen there? When you are increasing your temperature by acquiring this energy, valence band electrons are moved towards the conduction band, and that due to conductivity will be increases. So if we are talking about the silicon, and the band gap of silicon is generally 1.21 electron volt, and if we are talking about the germanium band gap, that is equal to 0.785 electron volt. So this is a basic energy band gap diagram which we have to see if we are talking about the insulator. So these energy forbidden band gap is very large, and when this is the valence band and this is the conduction band. So now what will happen here? This is the conductors in which these conduction band and valence bands are overlap to each other. Means at normal temperature, your conductor will be work as a conducting material. So what will happen there? Since both bands are overlap, so you have to easily available number of free electrons for carrying the electric current. Now what will happen when we are talking about the semiconductor? There is a very small band gap, and when you increase your temperature, so that particular time period, what will happen there? Your number of electrons which are lying in the valence band, they can easily jump to the conduction band, and your semiconductor will move towards the conducting material. So that is the basic reason, and this is the basic energy band diagram of our three types of materials. Now again we will classify our semiconductor material. So basically elementary semiconductor, if we are talking about the very basic semiconductor material, so that is the silicon and germanium, and that is the composed of single species of atoms. So that is a pure silicon and pure germanium atoms. That is the fourth group of periodic tables. Now if we are talking about the semiconductor material, so that is a combination of atoms of third column and column fifth, and some atoms from column second and sixth combinations. So that is basically a compound materials, that and it will also work as a semiconductor materials. There are also three elements, that is combination of gallium arsenide phosphide, four elements quaternary compounds such as indium gallium arsenide phosphide. That type of semiconductor material also used for making a photodiode and light emitting diode in our semiconductor point of view. So first of all, since silicon and germanium are the most popular semiconductor material, so first of all we will see what is the basically silicon atoms and what is the basic property of silicon atom, and we choose that silicon atom for working as a semiconductor material. So first of all, silicon atom is a group of fourth material. Okay, so fourth material, so its atomic number is 14. So according to our classifications, what will happen there? We have to distribute these 14 positive charge protons. So here, what will happen here in the center part? There is a 14 positive charge protons and neutrons, and 14 electrons are moving around the that central part. So what will happen? These are divided. So first of all, according to our formula 2n square, we will divide our number of electrons in different cells. So that cell is divided K, L, M, as we have also seen your 12th class standard. Ki how what is the basic atomic structure of any type of materials. So if we have a 14 atomic number, so that will be divided. So first cell will be allotted to the 2, second cell will be allotted to the 8, and third cell will be what is the remaining amount of your electrons, so that will be allotted to the third cell. So it at present we have to see that after distributing the 10, there is only 4 electrons, and these 4 electrons are distributed to the third cell. But now what about the stability criteria? So we have also studied in our previous classes that if any atom will always there is a tendency of a atom that they can achieve the stability. So what is the basic rules behind that? Okay, what is the rule of stability? If any atom wants to gain the stability, so it want to complete in outermost orbit 8 electrons. So what will happen here? Since in silicon atoms there are only 4 electrons, so what is the tendency of that silicon atom? It want to complete their outermost orbit 8 electrons. Means it has to require the 4 electrons for achieving the stability. So this is the tendency of our silicon atom. So we will just see here, just so that is a basically semiconductor materials diagram what we have to show you in previous slide. So that is same thing is the germanium atom, and there is also there is a tendency to achieve the 4 electrons. So that is the basic property of semiconductor materials, that is promote that materials to behave just like a semiconductor. So first of all we have to also see that what is basically types of semiconductor. So we have divided our semiconductor materials in basically three parts. So first one is the intrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic means as the name, that is chemically pure semiconductor, and there is no impurities added in the intrinsic semiconductor. Second one, if we are talking about the extrinsic semiconductor, so what will happen in extrinsic? Extrinsic means you have to add some external atoms. Okay. So what will happen in extrinsic semiconductor material? You have to doping. So what about the doping? So doping is a process of adding impurities in the intrinsic semiconductor. So extrinsic semiconductor is a impure semiconductor materials, and you have to add some external material for increasing the conductivity of your semiconductor material. So what is the reason behind intrinsic? So that is a basically two types of semiconductor materials: intrinsic semiconductor materials and extrinsic semiconductor materials. That is basically what we have to told you. The germanium atoms has also 32, so that is also divided into different 2, 8, 18, and at outermost level there is again a 4 electron. So that is the same property. What property silicon has showing us? That is the same property that again germanium atom have to require the stability, and it will again the tendency to gain the 4 electrons. So it is also, so both of us are in the group of 4, means valence electrons are 4 electrons. So valency is equal to 4. So what will happen there? So that is a very popular. Suppose you have a silicon atom. It's okay. And what about the tendency of your silicon atom? Tendency of your silicon atom is to gain again 4 electron. So now what will happen in semiconductor material, and what process we have to apply? There, these center silicon atom will react with the another 4 silicon atoms, and it will make a covalent bond with the 4 silicon atoms, because these silicon atoms also required some electrons, and remaining silicon atoms also required electrons. So what will happen there? They will be make a covalent bond, means these covalent bonds is shared by these two silicon atoms, and these two electrons are used by both the atoms. Same thing is here. These two sharing electrons are shared by these two silicon atoms, and again these two are used by these two silicon atoms. So what will happen there? There is a 4 covalence bond, and these silicon atoms and has gained the 8 electrons. Means this basic silicon atom has gained the stability conditions, means it will be stable. So this is the tendency of our atomic structure. So according to atomic structure, what will happen? This silicon atom will be make covalent bond. Same, this silicon atoms again react with 3 atoms. This will again react with 3 atoms. So now what will happen here? These chain process will be repeated, and now here your covalent bonds will be completed. So this is the tendency of silicon atoms, and due to this, these semiconductor materials, if we are talking about the semiconductor materials at your normal conditions or at a normal temperature, so now what will happen here? There is a conductivity. So what is the insulator? Why it will work as an insulator? So this is the process. When at normal 0 degree Kelvin, what will happen here? These semiconductor material or intrinsic semiconductor material work as a insulator. So as we have to see now in our previous property, the property of our semiconductor material is at low temperature, it will work as a insulator. So if we are talking about the intrinsic semiconductor means pure semiconductor. There is no impurities added in our semiconductor material. So this is the basic property, and due to this property, just you can see all silicon atoms are tightly bounded. Means there is no free electrons are here, and due to this, what will happen here? This will work as a insulator. But as we increase our temperature, what will happen here? Some covalent bonds are broken, and due to this there will some free electrons are existing, and due to existence of free electrons, these semiconductor material is work as a conducting material. It will show the slightly conducting property. So this is the basic property of our intrinsic semiconductor. So we will discuss about the intrinsic materials, what we have to do this. So all things are same, but we have to discuss. Yet we are talking about the 0 degree Kelvin, no charge, it will work as an insulator. As we increase our temperature, it will work as a conducting material. So now we will see about the classification scheme. It's okay. There is a intrinsic semiconductor and it is the extrinsic semiconductor. So what is the role of our extrinsic semiconductor? Our extrinsic semiconductor is again divided into two parts. So that is called as a n-type semiconductor materials and p-type semiconductor materials. So here we will see here in this chart, and we will in further slides we will discuss about the how it will work as a n-type semiconductor material. So this is the basic property कि n-type semiconductor, for making the n-type semiconductor material, since it is an extrinsic semiconductor material, means you have to add some external materials for increasing the conductivity of your semiconductor material. So what type of material you have to add? You have to add the pentavalent materials. Okay, so what about the pentavalent impurities? So we called it as a pentavalent impurities are added to our semiconductor material. Pentavalent impurities means the substances whose valency is the pentavalent, means its outermost orbit there is a 5 electrons instead of 4. So basically, if you are talking about the semiconductor materials, the outermost orbit there are 4 electrons, but when we have to done make the our semiconductor material into extrinsic semiconductor material, we will add the pentavalent material. So a small amount of pentavalent impurities is added in our n type. What about the p-type? If you want to make your extrinsic semiconductor to the p-type semiconductor material, so what will happen there? You have to add the trivalent impurities. So what about the trivalent impurities? Means you have to add trivalent materials in as a impurity to in your pure semiconductor material. So then your intrinsic semiconductor material will be converted into extrinsic semiconductor material by adding these two types of impurities. So if we are adding the pentavalent impurity, we can achieve the n-type extrinsic semiconductors, and we are when we are adding the trivalent impurities in our intrinsic semiconductor, we can convert it into the p-type extrinsic semiconductor. So this is the basic classification and description. So we just see how what will happen when you add the pentavalent impurity. So this is the basic structure of that. So semiconductor materials, so there we have done the doping and we have to add it on. So what is happened? This is the arsenic, and arsenic has a 5 valence electrons at its outermost orbit. So now what will happen there? There will be a free electron. So you have added so many arsenic materials in your intrinsic semiconductor. So what will happen here? They will, so pentavalent impurities is donate. So they are donate free electrons. So that is called as a donor impurity. So pentavalent impurity is also called as a donor impurities. And what will happen? ये जो donor impurities है, so these donor impurities are create a energy level that is close to the conduction band. So if we are talking about the intrinsic semiconductor, so these energy level is the center of these two, conduction band and valence band. But when you added some impurities, so your energy level due to donor atoms, these energy level will be near to the conduction band, and within a slightly rise in temperature, it will easily jump to the conduction band and your conductivity will be increases. So we can enhance our conductivity by adding the doping material. So if we are adding the pentavalent impurities, so there is a number of free electrons are donate. So these impurities donate free electrons, and due to these free electrons, our conductivity of intrinsic material will be increases. So this is the basic procedure how we can make the extrinsic semiconductor material by adding the pentavalent impurities. And due to this type of semiconductor material is called as a n-type semiconductor material, because here is a excess of electrons. So due to this excess of electron, we called it as a n-type semiconductor material. So this is a, again basic structure. You can also add the antimony. So that is all are pentavalent impurities. Now we will discuss about the p-type semiconductor materials. So now what will happen in our p-type semiconductor materials? In p-type semiconductor materials, we have seen that we have to add the trivalent impurities. Okay. So what about the aluminium, boron? These are the trivalent impurities. Means its outermost orbit there is 3 electrons. So now what will happen here? If aluminium has a 3 electrons, so these 3 electrons will make the covalent bond. Okay, but now what will happens about the fourth? Because this silicon electrons have a electron in their outermost orbit, but aluminium has not any electrons in their outermost orbit because it has only 3 electrons. So 3 electrons will be paired with the these silicon atoms, these 3 silicon atoms. But now what will happen to this one? It has a electrons, but aluminium has not a electron here. So this is called as a deficiency of electrons. And these deficiencies called as a, this is generally holes, means this is the deficiency of electrons, and this is called as a holes. Or what is the property of these holes? These property of hole is that it want to accept the electrons, free electrons, that is always searching for is there any free electrons nearby places, so that will take from that particular point. So this type of impurities is we called it as a acceptor, because its tendency, this type of impurities tendency is to accept electrons from anywhere. So this is the acceptor electrons, and what will happen there, when we are using this type of impurities, the energy level will be generated near the valence band. Okay, so that is a basic construction part of our band structure when we are adding some impurities. So that is again a p-type semiconductor. There is a deficiency. So now what will happens in this deficiency? This deficiency sometimes fill up by these electrons, and when these electrons moving from this plate to this place, here is again a holes created. Again these holes will be fill up by another electron. So that particular place hole will be created. So in this way, when electrons are moving from particular this side to this place, and holes are created opposite to the electrons, so we can also say that flow of holes are opposite to the flow of electrons. So that is the basic reason why our flow of hole is opposite to the electron, because when there is a hole, when these electron move here, completed this hole, there may be hole created. When another electron coming from for filling this hole, that place hole will be created. So hole will be created to the opposite direction of electrons. So this is a basic concept why we have to told you, that is a basically deficiency of the charges or electrons. Okay, so that is generally treated as a positive charges. So holes are generally treated as a positive charges, and electrons are treated as a negative charges. And hole is nothing but absence of electrons. Means there is, if there is not make a covalent bond, so there is just like a absence of electrons. There is a requirement of electrons. If there is not fulfill that, so that hole may be created. Now that is this is the Fermi level and Fermi energy levels. So for conducting materials, so as I have told you that the energy level diagram in acceptor level and donor level, so that will be basically created nearby to the conduction band and the valence band. So that is the basically, if you are adding the pentavalent impurity, so your energy level will be nearby to conduction band, and when you are adding to the trivalent impurity, so your conduction band or Fermi level will be lies between the valence band. And normal position, what will happen, that is the basically the center point. So basically, if we are defining our Fermi level or energy level at 0 degree Kelvin, so highest occupied energy level, so at 0 degree Kelvin, that is called as a Fermi level. So Fermi level is nothing else, it is also a energy level at the 0 degree Kelvin. So this is the diagram what I want to compare you. So this is the intrinsic semiconductor material, and this one is the Fermi level. When you are added n-type semiconductor material, so now what will happen? It will switching to the nearby to the conduction band, and when you are added the p-type semiconductor, if you are working talking about the p-type semiconductor, so that Fermi level will be lies between this area. Okay, so these are the basically, now we will compare between the intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. So if you are talking about the intrinsic, it is a pure form. If you are talking about the extrinsic, we have to add it trivalent or pentavalent impurities for increasing the conductivity. Holes and electrons are equal if it's say intrinsic. So if covalent bond is broken, so there is hole. What type of holes are created? Same thing is created in electrons. So both are equal. But in extrinsic, it depends on the impurities. Ki what type of impurities you have made it for creating the conductivity. So if you are talking about the p-type semiconductor, so there may be number of holes are greater than n-type semiconductor material, and when we are talking about the n-type semiconductor material, number of electrons are greater than the p-type semiconductor materials. So that is a basically Fermi level. Fermi level lies between the valence and conduction band, approximate center part. But if we are talking about the p and n type, so that is lies between one is lies between the valence band, and another one is between the nearby to the conduction. What about the majority and minority carrier? That is a unity. Okay, but here what is the ratio of majority and minority carrier is not unity. It will depends on the p type and n type semiconductor material. So that is a basic difference between n-type and p-type semiconductor material. So once I will again brief you, what about the Semiconductor material. So first of all, we have studied about the what is the basic property of semiconductor material, types of semiconductor material, intrinsic and extrinsic. If we are talking about the intrinsic, that is a pure semiconductor. If we are talking about the extrinsic, that is a impure semiconductor material. Impure means you have to edit some external material, and according to property of our doping materials, that will work as a n-type semiconductor materials and p-type semiconductor materials, and that is used for enhance the conductivity of our semiconductor materials. So now we will see what will happens when p and n-type semiconductor materials will be combined. So that is basically a p-n diode. So what is a p-n diode? P-n diode is basically a combination of p and n-type semiconductor materials. So now we will see again, that is a physical structure. You can see here, that is a P N. So P type is called as a anode and N type is called as a cathode. And there is in P and N type in the center there is a depletion layer that is generated due to combination of P and N type semiconductor material, diffusion of that both of them. So that is a basic diode construction. So now instead of studying the separate P and N type, now we will combine this P and N type for forming the diode. So first of all, what is the working of diode and what will happens when you combine? So at there is a two conditions, that is the diffusion. So what will initial level when you mix your P and N type semiconductor material. So due to concentration gradient of that P and N type semiconductor material, there may be some diffusion process. Means from N type semiconductor materials, electron will flow towards the P, and in P-type semiconductor material, holes are flow towards the N. So in center point, there may be a intermixing, there may be mixing, and there may be a generation of our potential barrier. So at normal conditions, what we have to see, there is no current flow through the PN diode. So what will happen? So you have to done the biasing. So that is a separate part of you, and we will not cover the biasing of a PN junction. We will only cover what will happens when you forward bias and reverse bias the PN diode. So if you are talking about the forward biasing, so you have to first learn what is the diode. It means diode is a, you have to merge P and N type material for forming the PN diode. So what is the basic property of our PN diode? We will see. And if you are talking about the biasing, forward biasing and reverse biasing, so what type of supplies, polarity of supply you have to given for make it as a forward bias. So suppose if you are talking about the forward biasing, P terminal of diode is connected to the positive and N terminal is connected to the negative. So in this type of biasing, in which positive terminal is connected to the P type material and negative terminal is connected to the N type material, that is called as a biasing. And this type of biasing is the forward biasing. When you done the opposite, means N type of diode is connected to the positive terminal and P type is connected to the negative terminal. So this type of biasing, we call it as a reverse biasing. Now you can see here forward bias PN junction. So in this forward bias conditions, what will happen? What is the basic criteria? So we will see again the diagram. This is the forward bias. So what we have to told you, P-type semiconductor will be connected to the positive terminal of your supply and N-type semiconductor will be connected to the negative end. So how you can done the biasing? If there is a diode, you can make your diode. Okay. So now you have to give the supply, because at normal condition or normal 0 degree Kelvin, there may be a certain depletion layer, and what will happens in depletion layer? Due to concentration gradient, number of holes are moving towards here and number of electrons are moving towards here. So at that junction, what will happen? They will to react with each other and they will accumulate at that particular place. Okay. So that will be the basically depletion layer. Due to the higher concentration of holes, so what will happen, what type of concentration you are finding, you have a two types of material, P type and N type. So if you are talking about the P type, means there is a high concentration of holes, and if you are talking about the N type semiconductor material, there is a high concentration of electrons. So, due to their higher concentration of hole adjacent to the negative impurities, the electrons of negative ions come out and combine with the holes. So, that is, holes are come out and combine with the holes and create a new holes in the layer. So there will be the recombine with. So what will happens when you have to apply? There are a p type material, n type material. There is a free electrons, free holes. So now what will happen there? There may be a recombination. They will recombine and create new hole in the layer. Means whenever that particular path they have to leave for adding with the another, there may hole may be generated. So now what will happens here when you forward bias these were PN diode, so width of the negative ions layer is reduced and finally your layer जो है vanish हो जाती है. So when you done the forward biasing, this depletion layer will be decreases. अब what is the basic process? What will happen when you are done the forward biasing? P terminal is connected to P terminal and N terminal is connected to the negative side. So what will happen? Due to negative terminal of source, the free electrons in the n-type region. N-type region में जो what type of free electrons are there, and you have to given the negative supply, that electrons will be repel and move towards the junction. And what will happens there? They will find the layer of positive impurities ion and start recombine with these ions and generate the free electrons inside the layer. So this is the basic reason when they have to move away from the junction. So there may be free electrons and that electrons may be combined with the at the particular junction. So there may be also a recombination and some impurity ions that will start the recombine with these ions and generate free electrons. The width of positive impurities ions is reduced and finally it vanishes. Means what will happens to width of positive impurities ions? Their width will be reduced little bit. Now what is the basic reason? In this way, both layers of ions disappear. Okay, means what will happen? So we have to again see. Just we will move slightly towards the diagram. There is a negative charges. Here is the positive charges. So now what will happen? Since this is a p-type material and positive charges, so holes are repel and move towards the junction. Now what will happen here? Negative terminal and here are the number of electrons. They will again repel and move towards the junction. Okay, so now what will happen when they are moving towards the junction? At the junction, your electrons will give minus charges to the holes, and what will happen there? They will work as a positive charges, and these holes are receive the electrons from these negative charge ion, and they will also work as a positive charge ion. So due to this process, there will be a minus layer and there will be a plus layer will be formed, and due to this plus and minus layer what will happen there? Okay, so due to this depletion region what will happen there? So here will again further movement, it will block the further movement of ions because here will be negative charges and there is the after receiving that, and there will be the after receiving, suppose they are the holes, so it will be positive charge, and what will happen? They will receive one electron. So when any holes receive the electrons, it will work as a negative ions. So it will be the negative charges when there is a electron. So what will happen? They will give their electrons, so it will work as a positive. So these layers will be formed, and due to this layer further movement will be blocked. So now what will happen here when we are doing the forward biasing, depletion layer width will be very low. Okay, and after increasing your external voltage, they can be easily jump to the that particular depletion layer, and your conductivity will be increases. So when you are doing the forward biasing, what happens here? Your at initial level, some amount of external voltage will be consumed for removing the depletion layer, and after some time, your current will be increases sharply. So this is the basic phenomena of our forward bias. of a PN diode. So that is the same thing, but we have to told you positive ions it will convert into positive ion and then start with the recombine with the ion, generate the free electrons as I have to told you. So everything is same. Okay, so both the layers of iron disappear and there may be no more depletion layer. So slightly this depletion layer will be removed very slightly. Now, what is the reverse bias condition? As you know, reverse bias PN junction means P type is given to the negative supply and N type is given to the positive supply. So, what will happen here when you have to give the supply? P type, okay, when you are doing the reverse bias, P type terminal is connected to the negative. So what will happen here in p-type semiconductor? What type of charges are there? Positive charges are there, so they will be moved towards the junction. And same phenomena is happens in our n-type semiconductor materials. There are large number of electrons, and due to these electrons, this process of conduction is affected. So now what will happen here? They can okay. So what will happen is particular potential barrier when you are applying the reverse bias, okay, because there is a p-type semiconductor materials, you have given the opposite, so they will attract towards the away from the depletion layer, and same thing is happens in the n-type semiconductor material, they will also attract up. So what will happens in central part of your potential barrier, the width of potential barrier will be increases. So PN junction is the widened, so there will happens to the very wide band. So just see here in this diagram, you have given the negative supply, positive layer will be generated, and this is a reverse bias battery. Okay, so due to this phenomena, our depletion layer, so there are two conditions. Then you have done the forward biasing of a diode, the depletion layer width, that is at 0 degree Kelvin, there may be a certain width of your depletion layer. So when you have done the forward biasing, depletion layer width will be decreases, and when you have done the reverse biasing, your depletion layer width will be increases. So this is the reason behind the biasing of our diode. In this way, the overall width of the depletion layer increases along its potential barrier. So that is the same thing is what type of potential you have to apply. According to that, the width of depletion layer will be increases. And increment of depletion layer width will continue till barrier potential reaches to the applied reverse bias. So तब तक ये जो process है increment of potential barrier का continue रहेगा जब तक कि both are not equal. And after completion of reverse bias depletion layer, more drift of charge carriers through the junction as the potential value. Same thing is what I have to told you. Positive terminal of source is connected to the N type, and this because you are done the reverse biasing, and say what will happen here. So that is the BI characteristic. This is the symbol. This is the symbol. This is the anode part. This is the cathode part. Cathode part is just like a plate, and anode part is indicated as a arrow, and it will show the direction of current flow in particular diode. So arrow will be show the direction of current flow. Now what will happen here? You have done the forward biasing, you have done the reverse biasing, and you have to show that you have to told that P type is connected to positive supply, N type is connected to negative supply. That is the forward bias, and opposite polarities will work as a reverse bias. So now what will happen in forward bias and reverse bias? So that is a basic easy symbol which is used. So direction, so that arrow will indicate the direction of current flow. So that is a basic symbol which we have to use to represent the diode. And this symbol of diode is that is just like a flow of current. So now what will happen in forward characteristics curve? So first of all we will see the forward current, and second one is the reverse saturation current of breakdown. Now what will as you increase it? So forward reason means you have give the positive supply to P terminal and negative supply to N terminal. So you have done the forward biasing. Now what will happens in forward biasing? So that is in forward biasing, there will be the knee voltage. So knee voltage is that particular voltage after which your current will increases tremendously, means your current will be increases very fastly. So that is the reason. That particular point, that point will be the knee voltage. So this is called as a knee voltage, and value of knee voltage is equal to 0.3 volt in germanium and zero point 0.7 volt in silicon. So that value will be also fixed. If we are talking about the reverse bias condition, so this is the basically graph of our reverse bias condition. At initial level, there may be slightly current will flow, and after certain time period, the current will be rises exponentially. So what is the basic definition? At initial level, your current will be very low, and these currents flow due to the minority carrier. So what is the minority carrier? If we are talking about the p-type semiconductor material, minority carrier will be electrons and majority carrier will be holes. If we are talking about the n-type semiconductor materials, minority carrier will be holes and majority carrier will be electrons. So there is, if there is a electron and hole, so there may be also a small amount of opposite polarity signals, and due to this there will be a flow of current. So that is a reverse breakdown voltage. At particular voltage, if you have to increase, your complete diode will be damaged or destroyed. So you have to work out before this layer. That is a forward current, reverse current. I think you have to comfortable with this one. We have nothing to do. Once at a time, we have given the P to P, N to N, but sometimes we have to change the leads. And according to that, our diodes will be behave. Now we will focus on the application of a diode. So basically, diode is work as a voltage regulator. So what about the voltage regulator? Voltage regulator will be made from Zener diode. So Zener diode is basically a particular specific condition of our diode. So that is basically work as a diode is also work as a voltage regulator. What about the rectifier or rectification? So basically in our next lecture we will cover the rectifier. So we will see what about the rectification. So rectification means your AC signal will be converted into DC signal. So this is done by help of a diode. So this type of property of your diode is that it will work as a rectifier. If we are talking about the optical fiber communication, there will also a photodiode and light emitting diode. So these there is also a types of diode, and these two types of diode is very responsible for transmitting our light signals from one place to another. So photodiode is work as a receiver and LED is work as a transmitter. Clamper. So if you want to shift your DC level, so clamper will be work. And what about the clipper? If you want to clip off some part of your signal, so you can clip off that particular shape of your signal also, that can be cut from the center point or any other point. So that is also, so this is a basic applications of our diode. So in this way we are working. So in this lecture we have discussed about the what about the semiconductor materials, what is the types of semiconductor materials, how our semiconductor materials behave in n type and p type semiconductor materials, and what is the pn diode, how you can make a pn diode. So you will make a pn diode by combining the p and n type semiconductor, and due to combinations there may be a certain depletion layer generated due to the further movement of your electrons and holes. So when you are not done any biasing, open bias conditions, these movement of holes and electrons are due to concentration gradient of your semiconductor materials. And when you have to done the biasing, you have to provide the supply. So there are again types of semiconductor: forward biasing conditions or reverse biasing conditions. So if you are forward biased, your depletion layer width will be reduces, and after some time there will be a breakdown. So just I will show you again a diagram. When you increases your forward bias voltage, so at initial condition due to depletion layer width, there is very small amount of current flow. But as this depletion layer will be destroyed, your current will be rises exponentially. So this is the forward characteristics of our diode. Now what will about the reverse characteristics? So what will happen in reverse biasing of your diode? There will be very small amount of current will flow through this diode. So why these very small currents are flowing? These small currents are due to the minority carrier. Means if you have the p-type semiconductor material, so majority carrier will be holes, but minority carriers will be electrons, and that will still existing at that particular type, p-type. When you are talking about the n type, so there is a majority carrier or n type or electrons, but minority carrier will be holes. So when you have done the reverse biasing of p and n type semiconductor material, so at that part, so that reverse biasing will act as a forward bias for that minority carriers, and due to that minority carriers, these small amount of current in microampere will flow through our diode. And after certain time, if you are exceeding your external voltage very high, so due to what will happen, due to high voltage of that, when we are applying high voltage across that diode, so now what will happen, due to high voltage, the movement of your electron and holes means there may be breakdown, means your covalent bonds will be broken in our semiconductor materials, and large amount of current we will achieve in the reverse bias characteristic. So this is the summary of our diode. Now we will see some objective questions. So that is the basically what is the characteristics, and by using these characteristics there is a application. So our diode is work as a voltage regulator rectification. So in further lectures we will see about the applications of our diode. So that is basically semiconductor material. So which type of bonds are existing in semiconductor material? We have also seen our lecture. So most commonly semiconductor, name of our semiconductor material, what will the valence electrons, how many number of valence electrons in our semiconductor materials, and what is happens when pure semiconductor is heated. So what will happen? What type of property? What is the basically property it will show off? Pentavalent impurities, the pure semiconductor may you have to edit which semiconductor will be generated. Trivalent impurities has how many number of valence electrons. So you have to know what we have, everything we have told in this lecture. So you have to remember, if you have to adding the pentavalent, if you have to adding the trivalent, so what type of properties or what type of semiconductor will be we have at that particular way. Hole, so what is the hole? So how we can define a hole in our semiconductor material. So it is also a very important part. Again, we will talk about the extrinsic semiconductor materials and intrinsic semiconductor materials. So that is basically we have to add, so very small amount of impurities is added. So that is basically show off the conductivity of your semiconductor material. So that's all. That is the basically semiconductor materials and p-n diode property of that particular semiconductor material. So okay.